Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is halfway through the month of February, if you can believe that. I am drinking water today. I've had sort of a rough stomach the last couple of days, so instead of doing coffee, I'm doing some water, because I also didn't drink a whole lot of water yesterday, and I've been really trying to be better about it, so... So how's everybody? Awesome, that's really good to hear. Alright, so we've got some Q&A. We've got one tiny scotch of haul. Actually, I guess there's one slightly bigger scotch of haul that I can try to show as best I can. Be prepared for some shakiness for a moment. And then I've got an FFO. That's real exciting. And then whip updates and some discussion for... of next week's assignments. Currently waiting on the Q&A to actually load and pull up. Well, I will, while that's going on, get that ready. Come on. Sorry, my internet's being just a smidge slow for no real clear reason today. Let's try going to this way. Seriously? I'm sorry about this, y'all. Okay, so that's just apparently Facebook's being non-responsive. So I'll do my best to discuss this week's homework. Bear with me, and I promise next week will be better. Alright, so the Q&A. So Kathy Walker has two questions. The first, what does G think of my stitching? It keeps me off the streets. He basically likes it. I think there are times where it confuses him because I buy stuff that then I don't work on for a while. But I mean, he likes it. He's not against it. And do I ever do any finishes like flat folds, pillows, or something other than framing? No, mostly because I don't have the sewing skills to do that sort of thing. But we'll kind of pick that back up in a little bit later in the video. Her has Stitcher. I guess I did not mention if Mom liked Miss Ladybug, and Mom did love it. Her guest bathroom has a lot of ladybugs and such in it, so she actually has hung it in there. But it looks real good. Tanya Garrison asks, what do you do while you stitch? Watch TV, floss tube, listen to music? Usually the TV's on in the background. I don't get a lot of floss tube watching done. Sometimes I'll listen to music, sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook, but generally it's TV. Yeah, that was weird. It didn't actually load all of my Q&A like I thought it did. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the top and work our way back down again. Craft Addict has several questions. The Pride and Prejudice Sally, you can sign up for that on Etsy. It's with Sapphire Mountain Crafts. And it's one of those if you join now, obviously you'll get the first part and you'll get the rest going forward. And it's $10. Quaker Oz is by Ori TM, who no longer designs. The chart is very out of print. So I don't really have a good place to tell you to go look for it, unfortunately. but it's called just Oz by Ori TM. It was part of her Quaker Fantasies line. And I never really did quite understand the reason why she stopped designing, but she did not long after Oz was released. Because I know there were several more in the fantasies planned that never came to fruition, obviously. And how do I store my patterns? My PDFs are all stored in my Dropbox. My paper patterns are primarily in binders inside sleeves. Ivy Kruger, unfortunately, the only way to do a tour of my FFOs that are hanging would be to do a tour of my house. So, no. Sorry. Christy Martin, my husband found my Scooby-Doo Golden Girl shirt on Facebook, so I don't really quite know where it came from. And I tend not to ask because I feel like that's like, oh, well, where did you get this so I can go buy more things? But then I know how much was spent, and then I feel weird about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I genuinely don't know. Jennifer Mannion asks, why is working with white floss so difficult? They never seem to cover and are just hard to work with. I actually don't tend to find that I have too much trouble with either Blanc or B5200. I know a lot of people do. I think it's, especially if you stitch on a dark fabric, it's giving the same amount of coverage. It's just such a contrast, it shows up a little more noticeably. I find if you're working on a dark fabric, 3865 will read as white without, and it gives a little better coverage. So you can certainly do that. I also find that on blue fabrics, like light blue, ecru does the same thing. It'll read as white and give you good coverage. Black is the one that I think gives me the most trouble, but it's because I normally stitch on lighter colored fabrics, and again, you've got that contrast level there. Linda Kleindinst asks, says, you mentioned one of your projects being on a frame. What kind of frame is it, and where did you get it from? I do have a roller frame. I use it primarily when I'm beading, and that's about the only time I really use it. And that's only if I can't fit what I'm working on a Q-snap, because I can never quite get the same amount of tightness. I primarily use Q-snaps. Alright, and I think that brings me back to the very beginning. So, there we go. Alright, so this week's haul, the easy one to show, I got Halloween Squirrel by the Blue Flower. Look, it's a squirrel dressed as a vampire and a squirrel dressed, I believe, as a princess. Which I thought was cute. And then, the other bit that I got this week, let's see, can I do this without, oh good, I can. I got a new floss storage cabinet, found it at Hobby Lobby. Not the biggest fan of their politics, but it is what it is. But it holds my gentle arts so nicely. Oop. So I do have to fold the tops down, and I'm just being lazy at the moment. But yeah, see, it holds, I'm filled up to here. So this is all, the first four are all gentle arts, and then sort of mismatched through the rest for other things. So, let me pick that up. And G very kindly shimmied it a little because our floors in here are very unlevel. So he propped one end up with a cut down paint stick, one of those paint flat stick things that you get when you buy paint. So, so that was my haul for the week. Alright, so we'll get into whips. So first, I started the Pride and Prejudice Sal, and got fairly close, or I got a good chunk done. So I got the top center part of the border done. This is on Heaven's Fury Joblin by Under the Sea Fabrics. So I'm using a Gentle Arts conversion. So I'm real pleased with how it's turned out. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that, which I may work on it today. I don't know. I'm going to work on one of two things today, but I'll show you all that in a moment. So this week we did, had to pick the light or the dark side, because we're at that kind of point in the book. So we had to do 600 on whichever side we chose, 400 on the opposite sides, and then for bonus points we could do 200 on a project that dazzles us. So for the light side, because I chose the light side, I chose Espresso Patronum. There were like 720 stitches left in it, so I actually finished the piece. And then I FFO'd it myself. I used that sticky backboard stuff, and my stitches are not on the sticky side. That's on the back side where it's secured down. But there it is. It's by For Stitches and Giggles. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, you probably saw where I posted it on my... I have it sitting on our coffee bar, so you probably saw that. But here it is. So it was real quick and easy to do. It looks a little warped because the frame, as you can see, has no stability to it. Like, at all, without the glass in it. And even then, it was weird and sort of wobbly to begin with. So, it is what it is. But there we go. So that was my light side piece. My dark side piece was Universal Monster Sal. So for the dark side, I finished out the Creature of the Black Lagoons room and got farther up the roof. So next is going to be down here. It's the Invisible Man, but I think we're going to work on the roof some for a little while before I go to that. And then I was able to actually finish one of the extra credits for the backstitch. And this is on Nessie from Under the Sea Fabrics. Nessie was one of the Fabric of the Months this year. So if you like this one, it'll be available, I think, towards the end of November, early December for sale. So if you like it, you can get it then. But go then and get it, because if she only takes the one, or if there's a tie, she'll take the two most popular and introduce them to the regular line. So if you like it, buy it, because it may not be available ever again. So then I pulled out Woodland Fairy to work on her, because I hadn't worked on her in a while. So I got the dark part filled in here, and I got the pink here, and I'm working my way around here. So I think I'm probably going to end up working on her today, because I think I can actually finish out the dress fully today. That's a leaf, so that is going to stay unfilled for a little while. But yeah, that's super exciting. Like I said, I hadn't worked on her in a while, so I'm probably going to work on this one today. See if I can finish out the dress. I also did my 200 Dazzle with that, because I said that the movies themselves dazzle me with their special effects. I'm using the DMC at 12 for Sparkle, which is dazzling. So there we go. And then I also worked on, the other night, I started work on Count Your Blessings again by Annie B's Folk Art. But if you notice this here, that dark green, that's supposed to be dried thyme from Gentle Arts. But if you notice, while I was stitching on it, because I happened to notice this, not so much. And I didn't notice it until I started the second color, which is DMC 3012, because they blended together. So now I've got to figure something else out to go there. Or I get to frog what I've already done. I'm not sure which. And this is on, I think, Blackberry's... No, it's not. I think this may just be a... This was a November Fabric of the Month from Ship's Manor, but I could not tell you which month, or which November this was. Alright, so for this week's homework, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to see maybe if one more time I can get that to... No, it's not going to. Okay. So it's 5 parts, with bonus points if you use the same project for all of them. So the first is Defense Against the Dark Arts, something that confused or deceived you. So something that was easier than you thought it would be, something that was harder than you thought it would be, something that you had to put a lot of thought into because of color conversions. Then, and you have to do them in order. I may be giving them to you out of order, but they have to go in order. 200 stitches in silver or gray for the Okami eggs. Emeratentia, which is the love potion. You have to do something that smells like something you would love. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of... I apologize. For Veritas Serum, it's something that taught you the truth, revealed some truth about stitching to you. So something you didn't know or learn before. And then the other one... Oh, Wormwood. Stitch on something with a plant that you can connect to Wormwood. But you don't actually have to stitch on the item. So, the only one that's super specific is the 200 for the silver. So I'm going to be doing the next part of the Owl Forest Wizard of Oz. It came out yesterday. It's a flying monkey and the wizard. So the flying monkey has gray wings, so there's that. And it was like 225. For the love potion, because I love Oz, and I would probably very much love the smell of Oz. For the wormwood, this green here is sort of the same color as absinthe, and wormwood is a main ingredient in absinthe. Yeah, I had to go that far. So that's those two. I've done a ton of color conversion on this, so it's had a lot of thought that's gone into it. What I've learned doing skin with 2 strands and doing half stitches over 1 makes it a lot less obnoxious. Still not my favorite thing, but it's less obnoxious. So, absinthe, gray, color, smell, and I forgot what the other one was. Shoot. I have it all worked out. But yeah, it fits. And there is over 1,000 in this little part. I counted it last night. So I will be starting on that tomorrow. So, anyhow, I guess that's kind of it for me this week. I hope everyone has a terrific week. As always, drop me some Q&A. I love to hear from you. And I'll see you next time.